Billy here at Gilbert Travels, back here at Miami International Airport after a couple days here and heading back from that Alaska red-eye flight you saw me take there on the last video. Now we're going to be heading back with American Airlines this evening on a direct non-stop flight to Seattle. Since I returned my rental car here, I'm going to have a chance to try the mover, since I've always, when I lived down here, just parked in the parking garage. Never actually gotten a chance to take this little train, so let's check it out. Talk a little more once we get to the airport. Miami's Intermodal Center was opened in 2010, with the MIA Mover train opening shortly later in 2011. In the years since opening, this station has been linked to the Miami Metro Rail system and Tri-Rail commuter train line, as well as being a bus line station, including Greyhound. Planned Amtrak service was delayed in 2010 and has not yet been realized as of the time of filming. The train itself runs a 1.25-mile, 2-kilometer elevated course to the airport itself, and it's complimentary to use in both directions. Be aware there is still a bit of a walk to the check-in desk once disembarked, but it is at least a fairly equal trek to all airlines you can be departing with. This stained glass light display was a dazzling distraction, and then it was on into the jam-packed check-in area of Miami International Airport. Tonight I was thankful as ever for my TSA pre-check. Once airside, I had to stop and stare at this American Airlines 787, a fleet type of American Airlines that's now based in Miami due to the early retirement of the 767 in 2020. 1 year ago, almost to the day, last May, I flew through this airport on my first commercial flight since the start of the pandemic, and it was basically deserted here at this time, especially this particular area of the airport that I'm in right now. They weren't even utilizing these gates at all. But I'm headed down to the Amex Centurion Lounge. Actually flying with American tonight back to Seattle out of the E gates, which is a remote concourse from here, but it's airside connected, so I'm gonna get some dinner. Let's see what the spread looks like in the Centurion Lounge for dinner tonight. Well, the early closure of the Centurion Lounge strikes again. I should have looked it up, but just like in Las Vegas, even though it's now totally packed here in Miami, they're still closing the lounges early at 7 o'clock. Not really sure why, but let's venture off into the terminal. Okay, so according to the Priority Pass app, the Turkish lounge in E is open, but last time I was in there, they didn't have a lot of food, and I imagine now probably even less. So let's see about getting some food here in the terminal first. Been craving Cuban since I moved out to Seattle. Well, La Carreta to the rescue with one of my favorite Cuban dishes, vaca frita, which is shredded beef with moro and maduros, black beans and rice cooked together, and plantains. So American on this over 2,200 mile flight is serving drinks in economy on tonight's flight, but they're still only serving basic snacks, so I'm still only expecting to be able to get Biscoff cookie or pretzels on tonight's flight, so I'm glad to be getting filled up before this 6-hour cross-country journey. So right now, skies are getting busy again. I booked this ticket with American back in January when they were doing some massive sales and things where travel was flat. I was able to get tonight's non-stop ticket in main cabin for $65, and with my American Platinum status, I was able to upgrade myself instantly into main cabin extra in my favorite exit seat row right at booking. All right, well, I'm almost over here to the e-concourses. Still got a few extra minutes, so maybe we'll pop in the Turkish lounge real quick, get a drink, nightcap before our flight. So I've been in here before. It's a pretty small lounge, but nice bar area right here. Get a drink, take a seat for a minute. Glad I got food outside, not much in here. Capping the evening off here with some baklava and a cocktail from here in the Turkish Airlines lounge. Last sip here before my second evening transcontinental flight in barely 48 hours. Back across the country to Seattle with American Airlines on A321. Once I took yet another air train, I got to my gate with boarding well underway. Thankfully, I was able to jump right to the head of the line with my American Platinum status and take one of my favorite seats flying in American skies. The A321 exit row section has just unreal legroom. Although the under seat space is partially blocked by the life raft, my light backpack I brought along on this trip fit just fine. So I've reviewed this exact seat before. I'm not going to spend a lot of time going through it, but it's got an endless amount of legroom and a nice window here. So I'm looking forward to spend a little time at this evening and relaxing as we get across this big country on a long and late evening flight. On our way to the runway, I spotted JetBlue sitting at the terminal, now operating here out of Miami for the first time, including Mint service to LAX, operating right here from the Concourse due to their new partnership with American Airlines, who are themselves operating a stunning 4 daily round trips between Miami and LA, with all 777 wide-body flights this month. Taxiing today, I was reminded again that the skies to sunny Florida are busy. We had a 20-minute taxi line to wait in before we could get to the runway. I can't even remember the last time that's happened to me. As I watched the sparkling city lights of Miami fade away into the darkness of the swampy Everglades, I got out my in-flight monitor and quickly figured out that duct tape I noticed earlier was an attempt to get it to stay in place, as it had clearly seen better days. I brought attention to this to the flight attendant, who seemed not at all concerned and advised me I could move to another seat if I was displeased. Given American is on the cusp of ripping these seats out of these planes in favor of their new Oasis fleet unification, which doesn't include in-flight displays, it is sad, if not surprising, to see them letting these interiors fall apart. A further sign of this is that the entertainment system was still set up to track presumably the prior flight from Washington, D.C. down to Miami, with us, of course, ironically flying to the other Washington State this evening. While American is on the cusp of bringing back domestic economy service to most flights, their flights over 2,200 miles have retained cart service throughout the pandemic, sans buy on-board food or alcohol, even here in the main cabin extra area. Given we are well over 2,200 miles, this evening, to relax, I ordered a hot tea to enjoy with my complimentary Biscoff cookies. It was then time to sit back, relax, watch my iPad, and let the country below slip by with the occasional lights, as we saw here over Texas. As I mentioned earlier, I got this ticket for just $65 in regular economy earlier this year, and then I used my AA status to snag this main cabin extra seat for free. I was also offered a further upgrade to first for just $326 shortly after booking, but ultimately that's a lot of money for what's just a cold boxed meal and alcohol on this flight, so I gambled instead on a free upgrade. I ended up at the top of the upgrade list with plenty of American's funny 500-mile upgrade coupons to redeem, but the cabin had sold out well before the flight, so I had to settle for my exit row instead. For you, in just those past seconds, we crossed thousands of miles of America, usually so beautiful to see on a daytime flight, and we come across the lights of Western Washington as we enter back into the Seattle area. So as we come in for a landing this evening, summary of my thoughts on tonight's flight. Definitely a long flight to take back here in economy, especially right after going the other way just a couple nights ago. Was able to get a few hours of sleep on and off here, and while I do appreciate the semi-full drink service that's being offered right now, definitely be glad for the return of real for purchased food in economy with American on these extra long flights like tonight's transcontinental. But look forward to getting to bed, getting some sleep. Overall though, always enjoy the chance to get in the air and bring that with you. So, Billy with Gilbert Travis here. We'll see you on the next flight. In the meantime, please remember to like, comment, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be made aware first when more content is available. As always, thanks for watching.